Hey guys, welcome to Motoroids. My name is Amit and this is the Mahindra BE6E or B6E, and I have done a very detailed walk around of this vehicle, probably the most detailed. Every single feature of this car has been detailed, shown and demonstrated in that walk around video. And finally, this morning in Chennai, we got our hands behind the wheel of this car, and must I say, the experience is absolutely fantastic. This car feels like it's an exceptional machine. And let's first get done with the things that have everything to do with the power and the performance and all of those things. And that power and torque can propel this car from 0 to 100 in a lightning fast 6.7 seconds for a mainstream car, that is, and that acceleration can really be felt. Right now I am in range mode. By the way, there are 3 modes to choose from. We have the range mode, which right now is showing me 380 kilometers on a 73% charge. And let me answer the question straight away. If you're in the range mode, you will actually in the real world get a range of over 500 kilometers in this car. Even if you use the everyday mode, you would get about 480, and even in the race mode, where you get the best acceleration, you will get easily about 450 kilometers of range. So the range on this car is really fantastic, especially with the bigger battery pack. Now, with that out of the way, I must tell you that the steering feel on this car is amazing. The steering is tuned in such a manner that at slow speeds, it turns faster and it gathers weight and turns slower at higher speeds. And the maneuverability is fantastic. The turning radius is only 10 meters, so that really means that this car is very maneuverable, and the steering wheel gains weight fantastically as you speed up, and that really feels nice because this car is also very quick. Generally, we have seen that a lot of cars have that really irritating torque steer, but this car is rear wheel drive and it really feels very natural as you drive it. The sensation of the speed is fantastic. And while this one is a rear wheel drive car, an all-wheel drive version of this car will also probably be introduced in the future. Now, the steering wheel here is all new. As you can see, this B logo is illuminated, and why I'm telling you all of that is these buttons that you see here, what you generally use for gear shifts in ICE cars, are basically region modes. So if you want to increase the region, you just keep pressing the plus button and it goes all the way to level 3, and if you want to bring it down, it'll go down to level 2 and level 1. And if you want even more region, you can go to the single pedal mode and you press this and you can essentially drive the car with a single pedal, which means that the braking will become very strong. And finally, you have this boost mode, which gives you a short boost of power for that additional thrill. So that's about the steering. And I checked the ADAS functions of this car also. It's fantastic, works like a charm, but I really have to show you this little magic trick. So you go to the menu and you go to drive assist function, and here, once you select it, just watch this another level of ADAS on this car. So the radar and the cameras actually project whatever is around you onto the screen. As you can see, the cars in front of you are being projected on the screen, and this is absolutely fantastic. This car also comes with a very crisp HUD. I hope you can see it right now. And not only is it really crisp, and not only does it move up and down with the position of the driver's head thanks to this camera, but it also comes with augmented reality, and it shows you exactly where you have to go with the blue arrow. So the confusing turns or roundabouts where you are sometimes confused about which turn to take are very clearly marked. So again, a fantastic new feature by Mahindra. This camera also can detect drowsiness, and while you're driving, and if you're not attentive enough, it constantly monitors your eyes and your head movement. And apart from the steering inputs, it also monitors your head movement and eyes to detect if you are not in an attentive state, and it nudges you if you are not attentive enough. So all of that tech is right here. I tried the cruise control also. I tried the lane departure. All of the tech works fantastically well, and must I say, Mahindra have tuned it really well. We don't even want to mention the 16 speaker 1400 watt system here with Dolby Atmos provided by Harman Kardon. It sounds out of this world, and if you are an audiophile, you are absolutely going to love it. As you can see, right now we are connected with wireless Android Auto, but it also comes with native maps, so you don't really have to bother about connecting your phone to the car if you want to use navigation. Apart from that, if you look at the drive selector, it's like a thruster on an airplane, and you have PR&D, and you also have the region modes which can be used using these buttons here. And the parking brake is an electronic unit. You just have to press this P here. Then you can choose the driving modes from here, and all of the controls are available at your fingertips. So if you want to go to the AC controls, you just press this button and then use this knob to navigate. Similarly for volume, so this is like your central hub for controlling most of the functions, the essential functions. Now about the drive feel, as I mentioned, the acceleration is really brisk. 6.7 seconds to 100 is really quick. But the most important thing that everyday users would be more interested in is the ride quality. And at absolute slow speeds, where there are potholes or broken roads like we have here in Chennai, quite a few patches of roads are broken. And at such broken patches, at slow speeds, you would feel slight firmness, there would be slight vertical movement. However, as the car picks up speed, the big 20-inch wheels really come into their own, and they really gobble up the small imperfections and potholes really beautifully. The insulation is amazing, and this car feels like it's really nice and comfortable to drive. And just look at that acceleration. Even in the range mode, it drives beautifully well. But it becomes a totally different monster once you put it in the race mode. And now you can really feel the acceleration. It brings a big smile on my face. I absolutely love the way this car drives. The throttle response is not abrupt at all. It's very progressive. The steering has a very nice weight to it, and I can drive this car all day long, beautifully insulated from the outside. And the steering wheel itself is so futuristic, feels really nice. You have this blind spot alert system, not just here, but on the HUD also you have two vertical lines on the edges of the HUD, and they light up in yellow if you have anything in your blind spot, so you know every single time there is something in your blind spot. The braking is exceptional. The brakes for this car have been developed specifically, and they are far stronger than your brakes that Mahindra uses in its other SUVs, and these brakes are much stronger, and it definitely shows in the way you feel the braking. They're really strong. Right now we are on a highway, so I cannot really brake abruptly, but the brakes are really strong. And all in all, I must say that this car, once you drive it, is going to be after your heart. It's really amazing. It's brisk. It's beautifully sorted in terms of its suspension. You can really feel the center of gravity being very low. You sit quite high up. You get a very nice view of everything around you. And to drive it really makes you feel proud for being an Indian. Now, one of the reasons why this car rides so well is because of the adaptive dampers, and that's a tech that you won't have in any other car within this segment. And that really means that this car can adjust the damping force based on what it's riding on, whether it's a smooth surface or whether it's riding over broken roads or potholes. The damping is always adjusting itself constantly at a very fast pace, and that's one of the reasons why you have such good ride quality on this car. So that was the driving bit, something that we had not done before. If you want to know every single detail about this car, every single feature, please go ahead and watch my walk around video where I had the time to talk about all the features of this car. In this video, I'll just go through everything so you have a basic understanding of what this car is about. I'll show you the car from inside and share with you some of my observations. So as you can see, this car is really sporty looking, and in terms of its size, it's quite big. It's bigger than the Curve, it's bigger than the Windsor, it's bigger than the MG ZS. So it's quite a big car, and it has enormous road presence. When it passes you, you just cannot ignore it. And we had craning necks wherever we went. Now, a few important things: 360-degree camera. The quality of the camera itself is not all that great. It has tons of feature, but the resolution can be a little bit better. But everything else is fantastic. I absolutely love how this thing looks. And if you come to this side and have a look at this snout, it looks so sporty. It really is a piece of art and is as functional as it is sporty, because all of these things that you see here are aero bits, and all of this really helps it go faster. And we saw this car clocking close to 200 kilometers on the high-speed track right here. So in terms of design, it's absolutely smashing. Initially we had some doubts whether we would like it on the road or no, but once we drove it, we were convinced that this is a real stunner, not just to look at but also to drive. Now on the side as well, it's as smashing a car. 207 mm of ground clearance, so if you take it off the road also there won't be any problem. It's a rear wheel drive, so it's a ton of fun to slide around. The one problem that I have though is that the roof line, which is sloping, it prohibits the taller ones amongst you to get inside without brushing their head, and you really have to be careful. So in terms of functionality, that's one bit that I really wanted to talk about, but it looks absolutely smashing. And talking specifically about design, when you look at the front wheel arches, the rear wheel arches, this really muscular look of the doors and these squared off areas over the wheels, it just comes together like it's a much more expensive car. You are just going to love it when you have a look at it in the real world. I absolutely love the way this car looks, and from angles it does remind you of the angles on a Lamborghini as well. It really is a fantastic design for the class that it represents. The problem that I talked about up front is there at the rear as well. Notice the door handle. While you get in, again, your head is going to brush, and you really have to be careful while getting in this car. But the problems end there, because at the rear you have this really beautiful spoiler, and it is an aero bit again. It is fantastic not just to look at, but it also lets the air slip through in a manner where it clings onto the road like a leech. Now while this boot is powered, notice this animation when you lock or unlock the car. It's really something. I really love the way this animation comes on. And apart from that, if you want to open the boot, you just have to swipe your leg and it will open all by itself. Now this is 455 liters of boot space. There is a 12-volt power socket. The seats are 60-40 split. It's plenty of space. It's actually more than 455 liters, because some other car makers measure their storage space all the way to the roof. This is measured only up to the seat height. So there is no problem there. And time now to get inside the cabin and see what all have I observed. Now this jet-shaped key is quite unique. This is for the first time we are seeing this kind of a key on a Mahindra car, and it gets the air conditioning button as well, apart from lock and unlock and boot release. And you get these two rather invisible buttons which allow you to move the car forward and backwards when you put it in auto park mode. I'm going to just show you how it works. It also comes with an NFC card to get inside. The doors obviously are flush fitting. The ORVMs are angular. This bit I missed. The seats are ventilated and the controls are sitting right here, and you have electrical controls for the driver. For the passenger you don't, and you also have this manual lumbar support for the driver, 3-way memory. The material quality is of a good order. I won't say it's the best that I've seen, but all of this is leatherette and it's rather nice. Quite a few soft to touch materials. This is also hard plastic, but overall it's a decently done interior. It's not an extremely expensive car, so I do understand that the materials that we have here are not absolutely top notch. You cannot miss this strap which replaces a door handle. Now getting inside is slightly difficult than ideal, and the cabin itself is done in the same hues that you see on the door there. You get an HUD with augmented reality, and when it comes on, it welcomes you with the Mahindra Infinity sign as well. This place is loaded with features, you name it and this car has it. And it comes with 3 levels of regenerative braking. You can turn it off also. This is the boost button which allows you to go faster for 10 seconds. Then you have this single pedal mode as well, and the regen levels can be increased or decreased using these pedals here, or using these buttons on this thruster kind of a drive selector. You have 16 million colors to choose from for your ambient lighting, and inside you have a ton of functions. This car also does its little dance. You have various different moods which you can choose. So cozy mode, club mode, and all of these modes can be chosen, the 3 modes, for a different seating position, a different music, and a different kind of an ambient lighting, and a different color for the screens as well. The secure 360-degree function allows you to monitor your car, and it acts like a surveillance camera for your car, and it keeps an eye on the car from the inside as well as from the outside. There are a ton of features, and this roof, by the way, also can be painted in as many as 16 million colors. It can wave, it can pulse, it can glow, or it can just turn into a static light. So all of those features are there. What I really like is this overhead position for some of the controls, and this button is of special interest to me. It allows you to engage the auto park function, and we are just going to figure out how it works, because I also need to demonstrate to you how this key works. And the auto park function here has 200 use cases. Let's see how well it works. Let's drive and put it in auto park. So now, as you can see, it's trying to find a parking slot. We are driving damn slow, and if it finds a parking slot, we'll see it somewhere here. And it has found a parking slot. So let me just select it. Park with phone, park with key fob, start parking. These two features are not on right now, they are dulled. You will also get an option to park with key fob, where you can use this key, get off from the car, and move the car forward and backwards. But let's for now just start parking. And this parking slot has been found by the car itself, so we had no intervention there. And just like that, the Mahindra XCV 9e has parked itself. There are 2 wireless chargers here, 1 cup holder, and this is a central knob. You can choose the drive mode that you want. A very nice feature here is that all the features about the exterior and interior are very nicely listed, so you really cannot miss anything. And just by pressing this button, you can either access the drive modes or choose any function from the exterior or interior of the car. Now, apart from that, blower controls are here. So the AC menu comes up when you press this, and then you can use the dial to make it big, and you can control everything about the AC from here. Go directly to home by pressing this button, or you can increase or decrease the volume directly by pressing this button. Now, this button here is supposed to bring on the engine noises for pedestrian protection, but that feature has not been enabled yet, and that is what we have been told by the Mahindra people. Now, all the features inside of this menu have been showcased by me, and it's all pretty self-explanatory. The Groove Me feature is pretty cool. If you have a music playing on, you can just park the car and press Groove Me, and then car starts a really cool show with its lights both up front and at the rear. In terms of safety, this car gets 7 airbags on the top end variant. On the lower variants, it gets 6. And the battery here has been tested for nail penetration. A truck has passed over, it has been submerged. So all sorts of tests have been done on this car. And Mahindra is very, very sure that this car is going to come out with flying colors, with a 5-star NCAP rating for passengers, occupants, as well as children. The armrest here has a cooled compartment underneath, and the glove box is reasonably sized. This is not cooled. AC is very strong. HUD works as desired. The seats are very comfortable, they're big, and this headrest is quite unique. Seat belts can be adjusted for height. All in all, it's a very nice place to be, and the audio system is the highlight. Like I mentioned, I could have done with a slightly better camera. The functionality is good, and like you read here, the software used in this test drive car is in beta stage, so it can get better, but for now the resolution could probably have been a better. It also gets a 3D view, and you can also have a look at all 4 wheels. Right now the door is open, so we can look at only 3. So overall, no complaints with the setup here. It's really crisp and it works like a charm. If you're sitting inside this cabin, there is hardly any feature that is missing. And like I mentioned, if you want to have a look at all the features in this car, go ahead and watch my walk around. All the features in this car have been shown there. Let's get to the back seat and see how much space we have there. Now, there is ample space for a 1-liter water bottle, and the material quality is the same as you have up front. Getting inside at the back is a bit of a climb and you have to mind your head. And talking of head, the headroom here is just about fine for someone my size. I am 5 feet 10 and anyone who is taller than me will probably have his head brushing with the roof here. Magazine holder, and you have this socket here for attachments, and you actually can connect that screen with the infotainment system as well. Two USB sockets, you have this AC vent, the flow control is through here. This AC vent in my opinion catches a lot of dust. You have some space here for a wallet, 3 individual headrests, armrest with 2 cup holders, ample thigh support, a flat floor so you can really move about. You can actually seat 3 people here for short to medium journeys, no problem. And overall, there is absolutely nothing to complain about. You get a reading light also here, a handle with a coat hook. So the space here for a car this size is sufficient. The headroom probably could have been a little bit better. The ambient noise is also very well cut. The tires here are quite wide and they are noiseless. They are electric car specific tires, so the car rides beautifully. It gets active damping. So the ride quality is fantastic, and sitting in the back seat is quite a comfortable affair. The only thing that you'll probably miss is a seat recline function that you'll get on the XCV9e. Well, there is nothing that I need to do much to sell this car. It looks stunning. It gets one of the biggest battery packs in its segment, gets one of the longest range. It's loaded to the gills with features, and with this, Mahindra actually want to grow this category. They don't just want electric buyers to come into the fold, they also want people who are never considering the electric cars as an option to just look at this car and say, wow, I want it. The battery here gets a lifetime warranty and they're trying to cover everything that they possibly can to allay all your fears, and I for one want to buy this car. And for 19.3 lakh rupees ex-showroom, I really think it's a tremendous deal. The way it drives, the way it feels from the inside, the way it accelerates, and the way it's been properly sorted really makes it, like I said earlier as well in my walk around, a watershed moment for the Indian automotive industry. I really believe that this is a fantastic car, one of the most advanced cars ever made in India. And if you want to buy a car, especially in the 20 to 30 lakh rupee segment, you simply cannot ignore this. Whether or not you want to buy an electric car, do go ahead and take a test drive of this one. It's absolutely fantastic. If you have any questions, put them down in the comment section. And until next time, this is your friend Amit Chhangani signing off. Rev hard, rev free, and drive safe.